So this week marks 16 weeks, and it's honestly been one of the easiest fasting weeks I've had in a long time. I've managed a lot of longer fasts, not because I've pushed harder, but because my blood sugar has been far more stable. When blood sugar settles, the hunger quietens down, and that's exactly what's happened. My average fast has been around 20 hours. And in 2 days, I stretched it to 23 hours without any struggle, no white-knuckling, no food noise, and that's a big shift and tells me something important is changing hormonally. And fasting this week felt easy, not forced. When something feels easy, it usually means the body's cooperating rather than it's fighting back. And there's been one thing I have noticed though. I had a couple of 4 a.m. wake-ups, not full insomnia, but that wired, tired feeling where sleep just doesn't fully come back. Instead of ignoring it and paying attention to it and started digging into why, and that's where cortisol comes in. And here's the most part that a lot of people aren't told. Belly fat isn't just stored fat, it's visceral fat, is the fat that sits around the organs and is metabolically active, and has 2 to 3 times more hormonal receptors than anywhere else in the body, which means it's not just sitting there, it's absorbing stress hormones. And the more cortisol it absorbs, the more insulin resistance that the body can become, which then leads to more fat being stored in the same place. So a kind of self-reinforcing loop. Cortisol rises, liver releases glucose, insulin rises, and fat burn switches off. I've been following Ben Azadi, who's covered this in a recent video of his, and he explains why so many people say, I'm doing everything right, but my belly fat won't move. Cortisol's supposed to be high in the morning, low at night, and that rhythm matters, but modern life can flip it. It could be late eating, screens at night, chronic stress, overdoing fasting or exercise without recovery. I'm definitely not overdoing the exercise. I need to do more. When cortisol spikes at night, it raises blood sugar while you're asleep, which then triggers insulin. Insulin shuts down the fat burning and then can often wake you up between 3 and 4. So those early morning wake-ups aren't random. They're often a blood sugar rescue response. So what I'm taking from this week isn't panic, and it isn't do less, it's just information. And it isn't failure, it's feedback. So here's how I'm going to be adjusting that over the next 7 days. First, I'm protecting the evening window. I'll definitely not have any food at least 3 hours before I go to bed, which will support the growth hormone, keep my insulin lower overnight, and hopefully better sleep quality. Second, I'm being mindful not to stack long fasts back to back unnecessarily, especially alongside training. Longer fasts are a tool, and if it rises too high, then I'll just push it back. If the 4 a.m. wake-ups continue, I'm open to trialing a small amount of honey with sea salt before bed or during a wake-up, not as a forever habit, but as a temporary way to stabilise sleep, which is what Ben Azadi has recommended. And then I'm also going to continue prioritising walking over intense cardio, because that lowers cortisol, whereas high cardio can raise it. And I'm also going to make sure that my protein intake stays solid during my eating window, so fasting doesn't become another stressor layered into an already stressed metabolic system. So, key takeaways for week 16. My body isn't broken, it's responsive. Low carb definitely suiting me better rather than trying to push my body into ketosis with super low carb. I know fat loss isn't just about eating less, it's about that kind of hormonal alignment as well. And I'll be, over the next week, keeping what's working, what's progressing, what's not. So a lot of analysis. So if you're experiencing early morning wake-ups, don't ignore them. It's not failure, it's just data. And data is how we all move forward intelligently.